In this video, we will explore the Porter's 5 Forces framework, a groundbreaking model created by Michael E. Porter in 1979. This tool is designed to help businesses analyze the competitive forces within an industry, assess its profitability, and identify strategic opportunities. Understanding these forces is crucial for any business that wants to stay competitive in today's dynamic market environment. We'll take an in-depth look at each of the 5 forces, explain their components, and provide real-world examples of how they impact industries globally. We'll also touch on how the framework has evolved to address modern challenges like globalization, sustainability, and digital transformation. Introducing Porter's 5 Forces. Porter's 5 Forces framework examines the key forces that shape competition and profitability in an industry. These forces include threat of new entrants, how easy it is for new competitors to enter the market and disrupt established players. Bargaining power of suppliers, the degree of influence suppliers have over pricing, quality, and availability of resources. Bargaining power of buyers, how much leverage customers have to negotiate better prices or demand higher quality. Threat of substitutes, the risk posed by alternative products or services that fulfill the same need. Industry rivalry, the intensity of competition among existing players in the market. By analyzing these forces, businesses can understand the underlying drivers of competition in their industry and make more informed strategic decisions. The importance of Porter's 5 Forces. Why is Porter's 5 Forces still so widely used decades after its creation? The answer lies in its versatility and practicality. Market attractiveness. The framework helps businesses determine whether entering a market is worth the investment or if existing challenges will erode profitability. Identifying risks and opportunities. Porter's model reveals external pressures, such as strong supplier power or rising substitute threats, and highlights areas where companies can create competitive advantages. Guiding strategic decisions. Whether it's deciding to launch a new product, expand into a different market, or restructure operations, the 5 forces provide a structured way to evaluate the risks and rewards of various strategies. A company exploring the renewable energy market might use Porter's model to understand how subsidies and changing regulations reduce the threat of substitutes like fossil fuels, making the industry more attractive for investment. Detailed analysis of the 5 forces. Threat of new entrants. New competitors entering an industry can disrupt the market, bringing innovation, competitive pricing, or niche offerings. The likelihood and impact of new entrants depend on the following barriers. Economies of scale. Established companies often produce at lower costs due to their size, making it hard for newcomers to compete on price. Brand loyalty. Strong brands like Apple and Coca-Cola have cultivated loyal customer bases that are difficult for new entrants to challenge. Capital requirements. Industries requiring significant initial investments, such as aviation or pharmaceuticals, pose high entry barriers. Regulatory hurdles. Strict compliance requirements, such as those in healthcare or finance, further deter new players. Example: the automotive industry demonstrates high barriers to entry, with established players like Tesla using innovation and economies of scale to solidify their market dominance. While electric vehicles opened new opportunities, entering the market still requires significant capital and expertise. Bargaining power of suppliers. Suppliers hold power when they can influence the price, quality, or availability of materials and services. Several factors determine supplier power. Supplier concentration. When a few suppliers dominate an industry, such as semiconductor manufacturers in the tech sector, they hold significant bargaining power. Switching costs. High switching costs discourage companies from changing suppliers, giving suppliers more leverage. Unique offerings, specialized materials, or proprietary technology increase supplier influence. Strategies to manage supplier power. Diversifying the supplier base to reduce dependency. Investing in vertical integration to internalize key production components. forming long-term partnerships to negotiate favorable terms. Tesla's investment in its gigafactories for battery production is a classic case of reducing supplier dependency by vertically integrating critical components of its supply chain. Bargaining power of buyers. Buyers gain leverage when they can demand lower prices, better quality, or improved services. Factors influencing buyer power include number of alternatives. When buyers have multiple options, they can play competitors against each other. Price sensitivity. In price-sensitive markets like retail, buyers often choose the low tension or diversification. Porter's 5 forces can guide decisions on where and how to grow. For example, in a market with high supplier power, a company may choose to diversify its supplier base or even invest in backward integration to gain control over its supply chain. Porter's model is equally useful for mergers and acquisitions, M&A, by helping companies identify potential acquisition targets based on industry attractiveness and competitive dynamics. For instance, a company may seek to acquire a business within an attractive industry with high entry barriers to establish itself in a profitable sector. Long-term strategic planning and adaptability. Porter's 5 forces helps businesses engage in long-term strategic planning by focusing on adaptability and resilience. Markets and industries are constantly evolving due to technological advancements, regulatory changes, and shifting consumer preferences. Porter's model encourages businesses to periodically reassess their industry's structure, ensuring that their strategies remain aligned with current market conditions.
High capital requirements are one of the most effective barriers to entry in capital-intensive industries such as aerospace, pharmaceuticals, and telecommunications. Entering these markets demands substantial upfront investments in infrastructure, research and development, and compliance with regulatory standards. Access to distribution channels. Regulatory barriers impact on industry competition and profitability. When barriers to entry are low, the market becomes saturated with competitors, leading to intensified rivalry and reduced profitability for all players. Price pressure. New entrants often use price reductions as a strategy to attract customers, particularly in industries where products are undifferentiated. Increased marketing and R&D costs. To defend their market share, incumbents may need to invest more in marketing, customer loyalty programs, and product innovation. Bargaining power of buyers. When buyers have significant power, they can drive competition, squeeze profit margins, and push suppliers to innovate or improve. Several key factors determine the bargaining power of buyers, shaping the dynamics of the buyer-supplier relationship within an industry. Buyer concentration versus supplier concentration. The relative concentration of buyers and suppliers is a fundamental determinant of buyer power. When there are relatively few buyers and many suppliers, buyers hold significant bargaining power, price sensitivity. In industries where products are commoditized or undifferentiated, buyers are more likely to prioritize price over other factors, increasing their bargaining power. Availability of alternatives. The availability of alternative products or suppliers significantly impacts buyer power. When buyers have access to numerous substitutes, they gain leverage by threatening to switch to competitors. To address strong buyer power and the threat of substitutes, businesses need to implement strategic measures that protect profitability and enhance market positioning. One key approach is product differentiation, which involves offering unique features or experiences that make substitutes less appealing. Building brand loyalty is another effective strategy. By focusing on perceived value rather than just cost, businesses can foster a deeper emotional connection with customers. This reduces the attractiveness of substitutes by reinforcing customer loyalty and making the brand indispensable. Companies that stand out by offering something unique, whether it's an emotional connection, superior functionality, or personalized experiences, can make substitutes less appealing. For example, Rolex creates emotional value by associating its watches with prestige and heritage, making them far more than just timepieces. Another way to counter substitutes is by increasing switching costs, the barriers that make it harder for customers to move away. Apple is a master at this, with its seamless ecosystem of interconnected devices. Once you're in the Apple world, switching to alternatives feels inconvenient. Subscription models like those offered by Adobe and Microsoft also work well. Over time, the value of staying becomes greater than the effort of leaving. And then there's data lock-in, used by platforms like Salesforce, where critical customer data makes switching providers a complex decision. Staying ahead of substitutes also means anticipating market trends. Businesses that actively monitor changing preferences can adapt before substitutes take hold. Coca-Cola's sugar-free drinks are a great example of responding to the health-conscious movement. Similarly, staying on top of technological advancements is crucial. Banks, for instance, are keeping a close watch on blockchain technology to ensure they're ready for potential disruptions. Finally, forming strategic alliances and acquisitions can turn substitute threats into opportunities. Traditional banks are partnering with fintech companies to integrate innovative solutions like digital wallets, ensuring they remain relevant. Acquisitions are another effective tactic. Facebook's purchase of Instagram and WhatsApp not only neutralized competition, but also added value to its ecosystem. But why do customers consider switching in the first place? The decision is rarely simple. Switching costs, like financial penalties or the time needed to learn a new system, play a big role. Emotional attachment to a brand can also make switching feel like losing a part of one's identity. Social and cultural factors are equally influential. Younger generations in particular are more open to change, making it vital for businesses to keep their offerings fresh and aligned with evolving values. Porter's 5 Forces framework, market entry, evaluates barriers to entry, capital requirements, economies of scale, brand loyalty, to decide whether to enter a market. Market attractiveness analyzes the forces to determine a market's attractiveness. For instance, the luxury goods market is attractive due to strong brand loyalty and high switching costs. Market challenges anticipates challenges like high buyer power or supplier influence, allowing for contingency plans. Entry strategies. Strategies vary based on the context, such as differentiation or vertical integration. Applications of the framework. Risk analysis helps identify risks and opportunities, adapt to industry changes like technological advancements, and protect profitability. Long-term decision-making supports informed decisions on resource allocation, product development, and responding to emerging threats. Understanding a company's competitive position is crucial for maintaining and enhancing its market share. Porter's 5 Forces framework helps businesses evaluate their strengths and weaknesses relative to competitors and identify areas for improvement. Benchmarking against competitors. The framework allows businesses to compare their performance against competitors by analyzing how each responds to the 5 forces. Identifying strategic priorities. Through the 5 forces analysis, companies can prioritize strategic initiatives based on their competitive environment. Enhancing competitive advantage. Thank you for your attention. If you found this content helpful and want to dive deeper into topics like business, marketing, and sales, make sure to subscribe to Raznameh. Together, we'll keep building the knowledge and strategies you need to grow your business.